You're EQing wrong. And I know because I did it wrong too, for 6 straight years. Boosting randomly, cutting by ear, following tutorials that said boost by 3 dB at 2K for presence. But all of it was just organized guessing. I remember spending hours upon hours EQing a sound, thinking I nailed it, only to come back the next day with fresh ears and realize it sounded terrible. Unbalanced, either too harsh, too muddy, or too thin. And the worst part? I had no consistency. What worked on one sound destroyed another. I was just moving knobs aimlessly, relying on my ears which, newsflash, change your perception depending on how tired you are, what you ate, and even the temperature of the room you're working in. This went on for years, and I kept thinking, there has to be a standard, a scientific way to know exactly what needs boosting or cutting. Not guessing, not trusting your ears like everyone preaches, an actual measurable method. Because here's what nobody admits, even big artists are guessing. They're just better at it. But there's no science, no consistency, no real understanding of why. Then, 6 years into my journey, I had a crazy idea. I was using Pro MB by FabFilter on my master chain, and I realized, what if I can use this as a measurement tool instead of a multi-band compressor? So after years of trial and error, I perfected a preset that splits the frequency spectrum into 5 bands. Sub 0 to 150 Hz, low mids 150 to 550 Hz, mids 550 to 1800 Hz, upper mids 1800 to 7200 Hz, and highs 7200 to 20,000 Hz. This is not random. This is actually dividing the spectrum to 5 key frequency areas that represent different aspects and characteristics of a sound. And here's the brilliance of it. By adjusting the threshold values of each band, I created the perfect balance between these 5 key frequency areas. Now I can use each band's meter as a visual indicator, a guide to perfect spectral balance. So here's the method that changed everything. I first placed Pro MB on my master channel before any other effects. Then for each sound, I watch which frequency bands light up. The goal? Balance the frequencies via EQ with broad Q factors, so each active band sits right on the verge of triggering its compressor. But here's what took me years to understand. Not every frequency band needs to be balanced. This is crucial. A hi-hat might have some energy around 1000 Hz, but those aren't its main frequencies. The character lives up in the 7K range and above, so you don't force every band to be equal. You identify which frequencies matter for that specific sound and balance those. It's like chopping a hot pepper for your dish. You remove most of the seeds because they're not the main element. You need to know what's essential and what's just seasoning. Once I understood this, everything clicked. Now I can EQ any sound in seconds because I'm not guessing. I'm measuring. I know exactly what needs adjusting and by how much. But the real magic? When every element is frequency balanced this way, they all fit together perfectly. You suddenly have space for everything. Your mixes open up. That muddy, crowded feeling disappears because nothing is fighting for the same frequency real estate. But here's the thing. Once your sounds are frequency balanced, how do you know how loud each element should actually be within the mix? Because that's a whole different challenge. And if you want to know the answer, then hit subscribe. Because in the next video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how to level your sounds and achieve that perfect mix.